All right, B. So I want to talk about, I want to have a conversation about entitlement.
Yeah.
You know, we obviously know a lot of people are actually kind of dealing with situations. Obviously, we're not going to name any names with what's going on. You know, some people that kind of latch on to you and they just kind of ride your coattails, or, you know, you're doing something awesome, so they want to hop on, and then, you know, they just kind of want to ride and they're not really willing to go and do their own thing. That happens in business, that happens in regular friendships, that happens all the time. But when do you know when to cut that person off?
Yeah, man. So entitlement's kind of weird, right? Because at some point, here's how it always starts. I've been in business for 20 years and I've been successful about 15 of those 20 years. The first 5 years were kind of building an empire. The last 8 to 10 years, I've really developed this mega success and a personal brand. And so, you know, if anyone follows me on social media, they know, like, once I introduce someone into my life and I talk about them on social, their following grows. I bring them to live events and they begin to network with people. Like, I want to expose my friends, my colleagues, my business partners to my circle. Like, what took me 10 years, I want to see if I can help time collapse. If you and I are buds and friends, I want to see if I can time collapse that for you and like kind of help you get there and build those relationships because of the weight that I carry with all these people, right? Like, they will give you the respect because of the respect they have for me. So, but that person, not oftentimes, about half the time, the person first starts off grateful, then slowly they're like, you know what? They forget how much work it took me to build the status, the money, the brand, the network, because it didn't take them 10 years to get there and years of bleeding and sacrifice. They were within a year introduced to a network and opportunities. They feel like it was that easy for me as well. So then they go, well, B has a surplus of clients. I could create something similar to that and maybe take a few of those clients this way. I don't ever feel it's intentional. I do think it is reckless. They're not self-aware. It is very reckless, and it's fucked up that what will start off as gratitude and appreciation. Hey man, thanks for bringing me around. My money's increasing. My social media following's growing. I'm, you know, the people that you network and connect with now, like, look at me as someone important. I appreciate that. Soon that gratitude and appreciation turns into entitlement. And that entitlement, then almost they start getting competitive in a bad way. We're like, I think I could do better. And it's like, bro, don't forget, like, there's a term that says, don't drown the man that taught you how to swim. You know what I mean? Swim with me.
Right.
Here's a body of water that I've discovered, that I feel is safe. Jump in, the water's fine, swim with me. But don't drown the man that taught you how to swim. Don't try and drown me to become the king of the hill in whatever the industry is. And I've had that happen to me several times. And you know, you've been in my life a long time, and currently we're going through something similar like that. And I know 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that'll always happen. The day that stops happening is the day my income and personal brand begin to diminish. Right. And so some people have what I call greed glands, and their greed glands begin to secrete. And like leeches, they look for a host so that they can be the beneficiary. Like a leech, they lock onto a host and they just start sucking. First, they're like, hey man, thanks for what you're doing for me. I'm part of a team. I get it. I'm making more money, etc. Soon they start feeling competitive. I think I can do better. They feel like, oh, B went to that place and didn't invite me this time. You know what? Fuck him, right? And this happens, man. I don't know why. I don't know if it's greed. I don't know if it's entitlement. I don't know if it's like alpha men do this. And I don't know why it happens. I do think it is a ego. It stems from ego. And I do think it's damaging to a relationship. And what I do, as soon as I feel that, I'll have one conversation with them. If they don't course correct, I immediately cut them out. As quickly as I introduce them into my world on social media and into my companies, you all of a sudden see them poof, disappear from my shit.
Right.
And then they go back to their star fades because they forgot that I was the fucking jetpack that they were hanging on. You know what I mean? And that happens to anyone who's successful. So as you develop more success, you will find these leeches who will treat you like a host and try and suck your light. It starts with appreciation and gratitude. Some of the time it becomes entitlement and you end up parting ways.
For sure. And I get that for a business, it completely makes sense. I'd imagine your answer would be similar for personal, but I do kind of want to ask you about just normal friendships, because obviously with business, you don't want to bleed money. you got to make decisions fast.
Yeah.
With a friend, you have a history, depending on, it might be a year, couple years, or, since sixth grade or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if your decision's a little bit different, but like a little extreme example, but I had a buddy of mine I known since elementary school. We've been good friends since middle school or elementary school. And came time when I proposed to Betsy, and we're gonna get married and the whole thing. And obviously he's gonna be in my wedding party. I wanted him to be my best man. So he's like, cool, of course I'll do that. And so he accepted that role, and he was struggling with drugs at the time. And I kept trying to help him. He wasn't willing to, accept the help. He kept trying to, kind of do it on his own and just kind of live through it, right?
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where I said, hey, man, like, not only can you obviously not be in the wedding party or be the best man, but I can't even have you at the wedding. I can't trust that you're going to act right. Right. And so extreme example, that doesn't happen every day. But even it could be something like a friendship where the person isn't necessarily toxic, but you're trying to help them out. They keep giving you their word, and they keep stomping it out. Like, when do you cut that person off?
Yeah. Well, how about this? It doesn't even have to be entitlement. So the example that you use, like, you made the right decision. This guy could have been problematic at your wedding. Mm-hmm. Either he overdoses or he comes up inebriated, and now he's like stumbling around saying stupid shit and getting, in fights with people, whatever, right? Yeah. So I think you did the right thing. But let's let the pendulum swing way the other way. We were friends for a long time. We've been hanging out, etc. And in recent years, I feel like it's a one-way conversation. The only time you reach out to me is when you need a little support, when you need help, when there's a problem in your life. It's the only time you're reaching out to me is when you need financial help, when you need like emotional, like someone steady to lean on. But every time I reach out, like, hey, let's hang out, you ghost my text, or you reply 2-3 days later, or, we set up hey, we're going to go out and have dinner as friends and hang out and play pool, and then you cancel on me last minute. But as soon as there's a problem in your life, you're reaching out. Now we're not equally yoked anymore. Mm-hmm. It's not an equal give and take. Now it just becomes a take.
Right.
It's an entitlement issue. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't value me as a friend anymore. You just know that I'm steady and I'm consistent, and you want that in your life. And so when there's a problem, this happens to women a lot. Women are notorious for doing this. They will reach out to their friends who are steady and consistent only when they need help, when they need emotional support, when the guy in their life bounced. But then they won't reach out to hang out and do what women do, which is like go out and break bread and whatever. And so you got to realize that those people are now value extractors. They're no longer adding value to your life. They're just trying to take value from you when they're in duress. And so you have to make the decision to part ways with them. I think it's totally fine. I think it's totally legit. You don't have to make a big scene about it, but I would just slowly start detaching and not. It's literally, there's editing of relationships, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, don't talk to people about certain things that are going to trigger you. Like, editing a relationship is, hey, if it's Thanksgiving, don't talk to your uncle about politics and sports because it's just going to trigger people and they're going to get mad. Eliminating a relationship, which I've done, I've even done it with family. We don't share core values. I tried to speak sense into you. It didn't work. I have to eliminate this relationship now. And I'm totally okay with it.